sure I'm not the only one who's planned a bike ride, yet even up to the point of leaving the warmth of my house, I'm thinking of reasons, or excuses to be honest, why maybe I should just not bother today. And I don't mean because of some physical problem, it's just a case of severe CVA. If you've ever felt like that, then welcome to the club, and I don't think we're alone. At some stage on our journey from beginner cyclists to whatever our own personal end game is, we'll all hit a period like this, and I wanted to share the things that I've done or adopted over this time to help motivate myself to get out on the bike. The first thing to do is to recognize and remember why you do what you do, and what were your reasons for taking up cycling in the first place. There's a difference between not wanting to do something and lacking motivation to do something. The only reason we talk about lack of motivation is because it's about something you previously decided you felt you wanted to do or needed to do. So if going on the bike more, for example, is the issue, and it's not something you're really interested in doing, then no motivational tricks will help. You're not lacking motivation, you just simply don't want to. So think about why you started cycling and remind yourself of the positive results from that. It might be weight loss or other health benefits, an increase in your weekly mileage or whatever. But just things that are already a positive consequence of your decision to take up cycling. Recognizing that sometimes the mental barrier is just getting past the front door is also key here. Many cyclists will say that the motivation increases in this situation once you're actually out on the bike doing what you learn to love doing. But if you've been off the bike for a while or are just not feeling it today, then don't expect too much. Don't push hard, just enjoy the ride for what it is. Don't feel guilty about cutting it short if you need to, because feeling shit is demotivating in itself. Be positive that you actually did something other than stay under the duvet. I went through a phase when most of my rides were solo, and I think I got bored with the same routine, so decided to replace things I did in the car with riding the bike. Things like visiting my mum, visiting my son. I took my van for a service and I cycled back home and cycled to pick it up again. These kind of things gave me a reason to go out on the bike, helped break up a routine that had become stale, and helped get past that period of disinterest. I imagine that if I'd been working and a cycling commute was possible, I would have opted for that too at that stage. So if you can, consider that too. Being a bit of a fair weather cyclist, the winters were not good for my progress in the early days, and starting all over again in the spring was not motivating at all. The best thing I ever did was invest in an indoor trainer. It felt great to be approaching the better weather, not dreading how hard the first lot of rides would be. And I started the spring and summer highly motivated as a result. I found that booking things in advance with people created a kind of obligation that battled any lethargy and gave me reasons why I should get on the bike more. So I did more riding with friends. If you're both suffering cycling lethargy at the same time, funnily enough, and both wishing the other one would cancel, that sense of obligation gets you out on the ride without realizing the other one was feeling the same. The other big move I made was joining a cycling club. This delivered motivation in spades. And by putting my name down for planned club rides, it fitted into that commit early idea. At the end of this video, I'll link to another one that spells out all the benefits I got from joining a club. So take a look at that after this. You might find something interesting. Doing organised events is something else you can get in a diary to help you have a target to aim for. And this was very motivating for me. Not just the fun and thrill of doing the event, but also in giving me a reason to keep my fitness at the appropriate level to actually do the event. Got me out the door without any hesitation. There are events and sportives all over the place, all across the year, at a variety of distances, and a simple Google search will tell you all you need to know. They are great fun, and you're with hundreds of people who just love cycling, and that's motivating in itself. And linking these events to a local charity can also be a great motivation. It's another strong reason to get fitter and do well, once people are actually donating to your fund. Maybe back to that pseudo-obligation thing, perhaps. I did mine, and still do, for our local baby hospice, Zoe's Place. And on my second attempt at the London to Brighton run, I was struggling badly near the top of the well-known Ditchling Beacon climb. I was determined to conquer it because I'd walked up it the previous year. And someone in the crowd of onlookers spotted my jersey and shouted, "Keep going and think about why you're doing it." And that was all I needed to hear to ensure there was no way I was going to give in, although I did almost burst into tears at the same time. Setting yourself targets can be very motivational, and they can take whatever form you like. As long as it's not something you would find simple to do, you will get the motivation from surpassing a target more if it wasn't a cinch in the first place. So it could be a statistic-based target, like so many miles a week average, total number of miles in a year, both of which the likes of Strava help keep track of, or just things like building up to commuting to work by bike so many days a week, visit my mum on my bike instead of using the car. Anything you like, really, but set something and go for it. Strava segments was also great for this type of thing. I chose 3 segments in my area that I was planning to use over a few years to measure my gradual progress. Being able to accurately measure and see progress statistically is massively motivating. Even if you already know you're getting fitter, it's just great to see the numbers tell the story. So I chose a local climb, a quarter-mile flat segment, and a longer one of a few miles. And I attempted to improve on my personal best whenever I cycled that way. You're not going to beat it every time, but over a period of months and years, you can see the clear upward trajectory. And if you're ever feeling demotivated, just look at your personal best on your chosen segment compared to your first ever attempt, and that puts it all into a positive perspective. And if you're a fan of cafe stops, and why wouldn't you be, do a Google map search of cafes in your area and pick one you've never been to, and create a route to and from it that you've never done. You'll have a new route, a new cafe, and hopefully some great cake. A new reason to look forward to getting out of the house and on a ride. Yes, I have just invented a new word, demotivating. People getting fed up and demotivated because they're eating the wrong things and think, what's the point of even going out on the bike? Look at the size of me. Stop feeling guilty about the biscuits, crisps, or other crap. If, like me, you're just an ordinary bod, you're not training to be a Tour de France low-fat climbing machine, so have another biscuit and just go on the ride. You'll be burning the calories you've been eating anyway, so it's no longer a problem. This cycling thing is so often a mind game, and sometimes things can be demotivating only if we let them. I hope that's given you some ideas of how to keep motivated to do whatever it is you want to do on your bike. It's about finding ways to see the positive when the inner demons are determined to make you see the negative. But also, in the end, if you are struggling, then don't beat yourself up. There's no shame in staying home and put the kettle on. Just maybe over that cup of tea, have a think about and commit to your next ride and what it'll look like. And then enjoy the day off. Whatever tips and tricks you decide to use, just remember the experts say On an average, it takes 6 to 6 days for any new behaviour to become automatic. So whatever it is you're trying to do or change, just bear in mind, it will seem quite normal and second nature if you persevere. Now, there must be plenty more I haven't thought of, so please comment below with any gems of inspiration you may have yourself. And if you can help my channel's growth by subscribing and clicking up the thumbs below, I'd be grateful. If you're toying with joining a club, then a link to that video is appearing right here in just a few seconds. So stay motivated, and if you're struggling, just somehow get past the front door. It won't be as bad as you think. That's all from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.